guys, we're gonna try something a little bit different today because quite a lot of you asked me to do a drifting tutorial or power slide tutorial, and yeah, since it's snowing and I really don't have anything better to do, I'm gonna try to do that. There's a few things I want to mention before we get started. First of all, you're wondering why out of all my cars I'm sitting in my Raptor right now, and that's because you can switch it from 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive. So maybe I can show you the differences between rear-wheel drive drifting and 4-wheel drive drifting, which in my opinion there's quite a big difference. And yeah, the second thing is I'm not a professional, I just slap my cars around for fun, so please don't quote me on anything I'm saying today. I'm just telling you what works best for me in my experience. So if I'm saying anything wrong, or if you feel like you do something a little bit different and it works better for you, please feel free to mention it in the comments. It will be interesting for me as well. And yeah, and the third thing which I want to mention is please make sure to find a spot if you're gonna try to drift or if you're gonna try to power slide. Please try to find a spot where you don't hurt yourself or anybody else. So ideally would be a pretty big parking lot. The next thing is maybe you should try to find somewhere a little bit outside where nobody lives and where you don't really annoy anybody. I'm gonna pick up Fabi right now, my designer. He's gonna do the filming for today, and then we're gonna design some shirts later for the shop. Maybe I'm gonna film that too, let's see. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Hey!
Hello! It's good?
So we made it to a parking space, as you can see. Yeah, we have the Raptor here. We're pretty much, nobody's around us and nobody lives here, so we should be good to go. But there's a few things I want to tell you before we start, which is the first thing you should always keep in mind when drifting is to always look where you go. With any vehicle, always look where you want to go. Especially if you feel that you're crashing into something, don't look at the target or don't look at the object that you feel that you're crashing into. Look where you want to go. So when you go to the left corner, look at the exit of the left corner and just keep looking. It might feel weird at first, but it helps you a lot. It's called target fixation. You learn it especially when riding motorcycles. The next thing is just keep it smooth, keep it steady, and don't panic, just try to relax. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. It helps you get more control over the car, and don't go like this really fast with your hands. It might look impressive, but it just unsettles the car and it makes things worse for you. So just relax, steer a little bit. So I would say we hop into the car and we're gonna start with 4-wheel drive donuts. Let's go. Springen Sie rein, Fabian. So like I already told you, I would suggest starting with donuts and progressively making them a little bit wider. And also probably if you feel that you're confident doing donuts, try to do an 8 or something like that. So we're in 4-wheel drive mode, as you can see right now. So to slide it in 4-wheel drive, you're gonna make sure to steer into the corner first with the steering wheel. So if I would do a left turn or a left donut, I would steer into the donut first, then push a bit on the gas, and I would feel that the rear is coming loose. And once it's coming loose, I correct my steering a little bit. But with all-wheel drive, you're not gonna really find yourself overturning the steering wheel. So if you're doing a left turn, you're not really going to do a lot of this. So go right to go left. You only do that with rear-wheel drive. So with all-wheel drive, you're gonna turn into the corner most of the times, and maybe in the best case, straighten out the wheels so that they are straight. And this way, you're gonna pull yourself through the corner. The good thing with all-wheel drive is, since you have power coming to the front wheels, the car will, like I already said, pull you through the corner. It feels like a pulling sensation. Also, that helps you if you feel that you're oversliding a little bit. You turn into the opposite direction and press on the gas, and the car will straighten itself up. So for me, all-wheel drive drifting is really the best thing when it's snowing a lot like it is today. So I'm gonna try to show you. I'm pretty bad at explaining things, so I'm just gonna do it and you look what I do. So left donut, turn into the corner, give it a bit of gas. I feel that the rear is coming out. I correct with the steering wheel a little bit, but I turn into the corner. Because we're doing pretty small circles, I turn into the corner. And if I give it a bit more gas, shift up a bit, I can do bigger circles, but I'm still pretty much turning into the corner. So if I put my steering wheel straight, you see that I will do a lot bigger donuts with a lot bigger circle, but it's always depending on the car, on the wheelbase and everything, how big your donuts are gonna get when steering. So maybe we're gonna show that to you from the outside again, really quick. Pretty simple, and I would suggest you just try to figure it out a little bit on your own, get to know your car. I think that's also very important. And yeah, then jump in. Excusez-moi. So that was with 4-wheel drive. We're gonna switch it to 2-wheel drive now. The only problem with the Raptor is you can't lock your rear differential in 2-wheel drive, which makes it a bit hard, but since it's snowing it should still go sideways pretty well. So with 2-wheel drive the difference is that the front wheels aren't really turning with the engine, so they're turning on their own, which makes it hard to pull out of the corner like in 4-wheel drive. So what we're gonna do is, like Doc Hudson and Cars said, we're gonna turn right to go left when going on a left turn. So before you start, you're gonna turn into the corner again, then push on the gas, and then you're gonna feel your rear come out a little bit. That's when you're gonna counter steer, and just keep it that way. Correct it a little bit with the steering, also with braking and with giving it a bit gas. That's a lot of experimenting. It's different in every car, in my opinion, but you're gonna get a hang of it really soon, I guess. So I'm gonna try to do that now. I hope it's not too slippery. So turn into the corner a little bit. We're on wheel drive now, as I already said. It's very slow, very slow. Then I'm gonna counter steer. Turn into the corner a bit again because I don't have a locked rear differential. And then counter steer. Counter steer, counter steer. And then we can make the circles a little bit bigger depending on how much gas I give it. People are looking at me like I'm crazy. And then you can keep it like this. Then you can close it in a bit. If the corner is getting a bit tighter, for example, you can close it in again and make really small circles, and then counter steer again a bit. Keep it that way. It's really easy. Just experiment a bit. Like I already said, look where you're going. That's the most important thing. And then you're gonna get a hang of it really, really quickly. So maybe we can film it again from the outside. There's no chance going with rear-wheel drive in this snow, but I think you saw it a little bit, that you have to turn into the opposite direction. That's counter steering. With all-wheel drive, I was turning into the corner or the wheels are straight. That's the main difference between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive drifting. So I really hope I did a somewhat reasonable job explaining things. It works best in snow if you're starting, because you can react really slowly and everything is slowed down compared to the dry asphalt. Or if you don't have any snow, you could maybe try it in wet. It's also a bit slower than on dry asphalt. And just like I already said, try to do some donuts at first. Keep it on donuts. There's nothing really going to happen if you have a big space. The only thing is you're maybe gonna spin out a few times, but other than that, nothing will break, nothing will happen to you or anybody else. So just try to keep it with doing donuts until you feel safe doing that. Then you can try to do those donuts a little bit wider, or try to connect them to an 8 maybe, that you also get a feel what it is like to connect corners. Those are pretty much the basics. And today's video is only going to cover the basics. In summer, when I have my other cars ready, my E90 and everything, we're gonna do that again with a few other things. So I'm gonna show you some outside videos right now of me sliding the Raptor, and maybe we can film a POV video later. So we found a pretty good road. It might be a little bit too tight in some areas for the Raptor, but I think all in all it's gonna be pretty good. I'm in four-wheel drive high, so yeah, let's go and enjoy the ride. I have to say that I've never been in Fabian's office where he does all his design work, but it's exactly like how I imagined a designer to live.
Mir ist es auch nicht so nett, muss ich sagen.
I like it here.
Nein,
Typical designer studio. I like it.
Let's go. Design some stuff, man.
So the front of the shirt is gonna be like this. There's gonna be two shirts. It's just a small mini drop, but those pictures were too good to not use them on the shirt, I think. So that's gonna be the back of the shirt, where we have the R34 with the polo lights in Sweden. And the front is basically gonna be inspired by those lights. Those are the colors here for the front, which looks pretty good in my opinion. I really love it. Yeah, you can see it. And then we have the second shirt, which is gonna be black. And there we have the picture is gonna be the Evo with the polo lights on the back. And it's the same like with the other shirt, but instead of the real lights, we took the polo lights as a color for the Schiffchen font. Yeah. And here we have the definition of the polo lights, but in Swedish, which is perfect because none of us speak Swedish, so we just hope that Wikipedia is right.
See.
But all in all, I can't wait for them to drop because I think they look pretty good. And yeah, it's gonna take about 4 to 5 weeks to produce. Like I already said, it's just gonna be a small drop with a limited amount of shirts. It's doing a good work. Yeah.
Fått det? Ja. Ciao Falco.
I have to say it was my first ever time doing something like this, so I think there's gonna be a lot of potential to make it better. But I'm for sure gonna make it again in summer with the E90, and I'm gonna do it properly. It was just for fun, just a little, I don't know, I just had the idea in the morning and I wanted to try it out, so yeah, I hope you still had fun watching it. I'm gonna put a link to my shop in the description where the shirts and the beanies are going to be available soon. It's not gonna be open today, so you can't really do anything with it, but at least you're gonna know where to find it then in 4 to 5 weeks when we're dropping all the stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So have a nice day, guys.